It is a beautiful morning. Look at this. We've got, thankfully, I think it's going to rain in about an hour, but it's not raining now. It's like 39 degrees, but it's foggy. So you got this fog in the trees and in the farm field. It's really cool. And I'm also trying to look for Annie in the creek behind me, if you guys can see her. She's probably way down there, but look at that fog. Isn't that sweet? Well, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you guys joining, where I talk about mental health and spiritual health. I'm not a doctor or a therapist or, oh, there's a nice, cool looking bird. And I'm not a preacher, pastor either. I just believe that holistically, we can keep ourselves healthy, and that includes spiritual health. So I like coming out here and talking about a passage from the Bible. And today we're going to talk about God's promises. God's promises. Good morning, Vicky. How are you? God's promises. And we're going to be in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18. That's Paul's second letter to the church in Corinth. And the key verse is verse 18. What is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. What is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Hey, good morning, Frank. Just woke up. All right. Well, hopefully you slept well. Look at this out here, guys. We're not going to have a sunrise, but we have a cool fog in the farm. Let me show you over here. It's pretty cool looking this morning. The creek is still frozen in a lot of spots, but it's beautiful out here. And I'm very lucky because it's going to rain in about an hour. And then I think we're going to have a pretty decent day. I don't think it's going to rain too much the rest of the day, but it's going to rain in an hour. Hopefully you slept well, Frank. I did. Oh, there's Annie down by the creek. You see her? Annie's walking on the frozen creek. Get off the frozen creek. I'm worried one of these days she's going to fall in and I'm going to have to go get her. And then I'm going to be freezing and soaking wet. Hey, Annie, Vicky says hi. Vicky says hi. Yeah, you're chasing something down. All right. Oh, did you just hear her get wet? She just went through the water. You just went through the ice. Annie, don't go too far over there. Come here. I'm walking. I got to walk. I got to get her to walk. Look at this, though. Look at how beautiful this is, guys. All right. So, God's promises. Little story here. I don't know. You guys probably, I don't know how old you are, but you possibly lost a parent in their old age when they were losing their memory. I mean, I did. My dad was losing his memory. He didn't have total dementia. Like, I think he always knew who I was, I believe, every time I went to see him. I'm not 100% sure, but he'd forgotten pretty much everything else. And it's kind of sad to see that. And there's a story here of this one person who's going through the same thing with their father. He was a lot worse than my dad in that this person's father didn't even recognize who he was. It was really sad. You know, that's tough. That's a tough thing to live through. Yeah, it is sad, Vicky. And he had a dream one morning. This is unbelievable. That God appeared to him in a dream with a little treasure chest in his hands. And God said to him, all your dad's memories are safely stored here. I'll keep them in the meantime. Then one day in heaven, I'll return them to him. And that was his dream. Can you believe that? That's pretty cool. So that dream kind of comforted him every time he saw his dad, and his dad had no idea who he was. You know, I mean, it's frustrating and sad all at the same time if you've ever lived through something like that. But that dream really comforted him. Now, that's pretty cool, God, but he's not going to do that for each and every one of us, right? And that's why he gives us in his word, Paul tries to remind us of that suffering is light and momentary. And that's in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. Suffering's light and momentary. Now, he's not downplaying the suffering, guys. He's not saying that, oh, don't worry about it, it's no big deal. What he's saying is, because he suffered a lot himself. I mean, if you read in verses 7 through 12, Paul suffered a lot himself. But what he was emphasizing is that in light of eternity, our suffering here on earth is light and momentary when you think about it. I mean, say you suffer your whole life for 100 years. That's very unfortunate, but it's also pales in comparison to all eternity. Infinite number of years. So all the blessings that we're going to have, that one day we'll experience in heaven, will infinitely outweigh any number of years that we're suffering here on earth. So I think if we just focus on that, focus on what Paul said, and because of God and his promises, we don't have to lose heart. We can live every day in faith, relying on his power to renew us. That's what Paul said in verse 16. And in verse 18, let's fix our eyes on his eternal promises today and not let little things bother us. So let's try to fix our eyes on eternity today in light of any troubles we may face today, okay? That's what I want you guys to take away from today's message. 2 questions. Question 1, what suffering are you experiencing? What suffering are you currently experiencing? And how can God's promises and all that you have as his child help you not to lose heart? So think of that. How can God's promises and all that you have as his child help you not to lose heart? All right. That's today's message, called God's Promises. Hey, Mariner. Hey, Viberus. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good night's sleep? It's really nice out here. It feels 39 degrees, never felt so warm. Although I'm not sure I like this because look at how muddy it is. So this means that I'm warmer out here, but when I get back, I have to give Annie a bath. Because Lord knows where Annie is. No idea where she is. We can see a little bit of the sunrise. I mean, even though it's really cloudy on the east, you can see the sun has risen already behind the clouds. Yeah, the fog is nice, Mariner. It's really pretty out here. It's kind of cool. You can see it through the trees. At one point, I could see it like rising up over the, I think it's in the other direction. It may be difficult to see. Over this creek. The fog was rising up over the creek in the middle of the trees. It's really cool. Now I got to go down here through this brush and hopefully don't scratch my eye. And I got to try to find Annie, this goofball. I got to make sure she didn't fall into this. She's walking on this ice and you can see how it's already cracked up, guys. She's falling through it. You can hear her break through the ice. And she's out there. She's past the white ice sometimes. Annie, what you doing? Good thing she can't get very far. But this is really cool down here, this creek. There's a lot of trees in here. You have no idea where Annie is. That's a problem, huh? Yeah, isn't this pretty? Yeah, I don't think she'd fall in. I think I would hear her. She would be crying or barking or something. She would let me know. This is a little bit worrisome, but there's no current. Don't worry about it. At least there's no current in this creek. It's almost like a stagnant drainage ditch. I don't think it's a drainage ditch. It's way bigger than that, but you know what I'm getting at. I'm gonna have to call for her. And then maybe we'll see the sun even pop up way out here. Here, Annie. Hey, Annie. Annie, Vicky's got something for you. Annie, come. Yeah, this is a little worrisome. I'm just gonna walk all the way down here and see where she is. I think someone was back here since yesterday morning because my pillowcase was moved and the trash that I had wedged in between the fence and the pillowcase, because I'm kind of collecting up the trash and then I'll pick it up one day when I come back here. That was gone. Oh, she's fine. She's just not responding. Come here, Annie, you goof. Do you see her down there? She's down there. Annie, come here. The last time I walked all the way down, yeah, she's on the stupid creek. Come here. You silly girl. Come here. She can't get through all those bristles and thorns. I don't know how you got over there, but you're going to have to figure out how to get back. Look at that. It is a little precarious, Frank. It's a little precarious. There she is. She's digging in something. Come here, silly. Good girl. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, she's good. All right, guys. Remember today, like Paul said in verse 18, let's fix our eyes on his eternal promises, because what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. What is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. And honestly, that's what gets me through every day. I swear. It's beautiful. The fog is kind of lifting, at least in the near field. There's still some fog over here before those trees. You can see there's some fog, but in the middle of the farm, it's kind of going away. And the sun is coming out. It's beautiful. All right, guys. I want you to have a great day. And fix your eyes on eternity, okay? And hopefully we will see you this evening. Yeah, it is a pretty sky. Even though we don't have an exact sunrise, we do have a pretty sky for sure. All right, guys, have a great one. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. We'll be looking at some album covers. Thanks, Vicky. Peace, everybody. Keep your eyes fixed on eternity.